Hello, hello. Just getting set up here. I hope everyone is doing well. Okay, that's not working. It's working now. Okay. Had to re-ink my thingy here. Okay, here we go. We are going to do some collaging type stuff. So I've got my bases. I do like to work on a base, and then I found this paper pad. It's only got a few sheets left, so I'm going to pull some of them out, and I want to focus actually on these, making these a good morning, Amy and Vicky. I hope you both are doing well. Let me know if you can. I believe you can see me. Just I never know if people can hear me. I'm just saying. So I'm just gonna pull some sheets. We're gonna do some collaging. There's some of these papers I like, some of them I don't. So I think they're gonna become master boards. Like that's a lot of gold. A lot of gold going on there. Awesome. Um, Maybe we'll pull this one in. So, yep, lots of vintage photo. Lots of... I pulled out some of my... Okay, I like that one, though. Even though that's a lot of gold. I like that one. And we're just going to have a play. It's going to be... They're going to be based off of 5x7 card bases. And I usually do like to go directly onto the card base. But a lot of times I do like to have a founding base, using some scraps that I did already cut into, and then putting that onto a card base. For me, it also saves some space with the cards that I hold. That good morning, Terry. How are you doing? I understood that. Belinda, good morning. Or in your case, I believe it's evening. Diane, hello. Let's see. Okay. So let me move these. So we're going to cut them down. And what I mean by a base is this. This is, it's like a, where you call it a template or a base. This has been cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, so that I'll have just this little bit of space going around it, and the card base will be able to create that mat, so to speak. So I have some of those. And then we're going to focus on these. Now these are, they look vintage already, but you guys know me, between vintage photo and all of that, we can make any color, even the purple look a little bit vintage, distressed, and we're going to do that by adding, I found some um, butterfly stickers. I have no idea when I got these. And yes, they do have a white border, but I'll show you how we're going to make that go away. And then I have some fussy cuts from Digitals, from Tracy Fox, and Blossom Paper Art. These are tickets. These, I believe, are from Shabby Dabby Doodah. So I have those. The two sentiments that I'm going to use are from my recent release. I love the Make Memories, Let It Go, Creativity is Intelligence, Having Fun, and then also Stay Curious, Use Your Wings, Be Authentic, and Not All Who Wander Are Lost by J.R.R. Tolkien. So they're just fun, just some of my favorite sentiments. So we're going to create some scrappy backgrounds. These are going to be our focal points, and all of that fun stuff. So we're just going to have some fun. I grabbed some stamps. I even grabbed my bin of little tiny snippets of things, laces and ribbons and stuff like that. I also grabbed some of these tags. Yes, this is how I used to price my stuff. Yep, we stopped that. And how we're going to have fun with those. Just, we're going to have a play. We are going to have a play. And first, I'm going to cut our focal points. I don't know why I'm not bringing out my trimmer. Which, yeah, okay. You know, we're going to bring out the trimmer. Dude, we're just... No, I've already cut it. Let's just go with it. Tear this down. So how is everyone doing? Everyone having a good morning so far? I hope. I'm going to have to cut that edge off because that is going to make me nuts. Because I didn't cut it that way. That's a horrible sound coming across. Oh my goodness. So I firmly believe that anything we have in our stash, no matter what color, we can make vintage. And these are not the scissors I want for that. I know, I have lots of scissors. To me, it doesn't matter the color or what is being used. We can make it look vintage. And I do believe that is mainly because of vintage photo. That's its whole premise, it's its whole idea. So we're going to see how many bases we can get. I'd love to get, well, I have 6 here, and I think there's another page. A dinner cruise. Oh, nice. Oh. Good. You relaxed. That is what is important. I'm going to take this one too, and I'm going to cut this one up. You're going to hear a flap. Everything's okay. There we go. Not sure if you heard that. That dinner sounded absolutely wonderful. My husband grilled. I love it when he grills. I wish he could do that every night for dinner. And I'm good just making the sides. Right, I'm going to say, okay, those are going to go in another bin. This one's too big, but it will make a great thing for a journal. Same with that. I'm going to save these off to the side because I can use those as like washi type thingies. It's a technical term. All right. So I think, and then I have these. So we will see how far we get. Okay, so this is what we've got for the template base. Cordelia, good morning. Let's pull our first one. Let's get these up here. Let's get some water. So what I'm looking at, I think what I am going to do is cut these down. All right, so these we want to go 6 3/4, and I'm making sure I look at the directions or the which way the papers are going, but that's not a rule breaker for me, or a rule, I should say. So here we're just chopping up some 12 by 12 papers. And depending upon the size of your print, like this print is good for standard A2 size. But for those of you that know me, I like real estate. Love, love real estate. I never know what I'm going to add, how much I'm going to add. So the bigger the card base, the better for me. I think there's 2 here. Yes, and I think we can cut both of them together. So you can see from each 12 by 12 paper, I can get 4 panels, but that doesn't mean that I can't cut it down, tear it down, or anything like that. I do keep my spare panels when I have them, because then it can just be something I can grab. If I need a card, just that I could take this base and just put a sentiment on it. It's, again, you took the time, let the pattern paper do that work for you. All right, now this one, we're going to cut a little differently. So let's see. Yep, I cut right along that. And I'm always looking at the pattern of what it will give us, and then that will help determine how I'll cut that. Again, beautiful image. We can just add a sentiment to that. Again, beautiful image. Just add it. And plus, I love that look. All right, these I am going to keep by me because I can still use these. I don't know where I'll put them, but you know, we'll keep them somewhere. We'll put them right here. All right, I think that's the cut that we're going to do. Let's see. Good morning, Beth. How are you doing? Oh, good, Terry. Yeah, dig in. So I grabbed a paper pad that I had already broken into. I grabbed the fussy cut page, a couple of them. Those are going to be our focal points. And then I took some of the 12 by 12 papers and just cut them down. Yes, they are this size as well, or close to it, but I do like to work on a template. And I know somebody will say, well, that's just a waste of paper. Okay, it could be, but again, we all create differently. And I can cut that off, or I can add a piece of lace to top of that just to give it some interest, or I could move this up. But if I go outside these parameters, then I know, okay, this is what I can trim. And using the cut aparts, we're going to make those the focal. Now you could very easily, so you've got that image. We could easily, I need to grab something. So, yep. Hang on. So we could take this piece, and I'm going to dig. So this is how I keep my neutrals, my black, my craft, ivory, and white. Those scraps to me are very precious. So if I take a black, well, now that was made for that. Oh my goodness. Okay. It was meant to be. So we could take this. Now, you could just take this, glue this on, but you guys, most of you know me. My vintage photo must come in. It must make a presence. It's just one of those things. You know, sometimes we've had that question go around with crafters. What is the one thing that you could not do without? This is it for me. Vintage photo. It is absolutely it for me. And again, it's not for everyone. But we can add our glue. We've created our mat. And I like creating mats for stuff like this because it helps to bring it to the forefront. And if we just take that right there, and then let's grab here's a scrap piece of craft. Got my black obsidian, an acrylic block, my favorite quote of all time. course, that looks crooked to me. Now I have ink all over my fingers. That's the beauty of crafting. I just slapped it on down. We'll go crooked. I like crooked. Stamp that down. Bad stamp. That's okay. I'll cut away from the sentiment because you guys know I just like to tear. And this is not the thin. You know what? Tear it. Just you always tear. But I believe I love the Recollections Craft 110 pounds. It is awesome, but I also believe that it is 130 pounds. It's very thick. So just to give this a little bit of a ragged edge. There we go. Even more black ink on my fingers. We have that. So we could absolutely take this and take that. And there's a card. We let ink on fingers. Yes, it does equal a good day. Absolutely. Yep. Can't get away from it. Cannot get away from it. Good morning, Kelly. How are you? I doubt these papers too are even still available. I know I got it from Michael's. It doesn't have the year. 2017. Yeah, these are from 2017. Yeah. So there's our card. Now to take that, and again, that's all you have to do. You've got all of this beautiful image here. We've matted the focal point, which is just one of the cuddle parts. Cuddle parts are awesome. When it comes to a paper pad, we've added a sentiment. I added a sentiment from one of my stamps recently released, and then we can just have that down there, and our card's done. So let's take this. I'm still going to put this on the base, and I want to trim this top because that is just going to absolutely annoy me. It looks like a torn edge. Yeah, no. So I'm just going to trim it. That's what I love about this trimmer. You can go from the thinnest of slivers off of your papers. And again, you can leave your papers just as they are. But we are doing vintage today. I find I gravitate to that. I gravitate to the vintage look, and all of that feel. But I do believe, like I've said, anything can be made to look vintage. Even the pinkest of pink papers to the tealest of teals and purples, they can do that. So I'm going to put this on. We've got that on our base. I'm going to set this up. You can add dimension if you want. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to set that right in that nook. Not straight, Nope, not straight. And then we can put our sentiment here. We can have it going across there. And if we don't look at that white stripe, our card is done. Always let your pattern papers do the work. So if you've got that paper pad that, whether it's 12 by 12, 6 by 6, 8 by 8, all the different paper pads that are out there, you can just use a paper pad. To me, is like a mini kit. It's got everything. If it has all those components, it's got everything that you need to create your cards. You don't have to die cut. Get a pair of scissors. If you have a paper trimmer, great. Just grab your favorite adhesive and let's go to it. I do like to take it up because we have a lot of scraps. And depending upon what you do, it could depend upon the scraps that you have. Now, a lot of the scraps that I have, of course, because I do journals, are pieces of lace. So I'm just going to add this little bit of lace just at the bottom. And I'm going to, before I get that sentiment down, I am going to go heavy in that area to just dull the white. We're just going to dull that down. Of course, I have to go around again because it's just what I do. And now we'll put, I think I do want my Fabri-Tac. PVA glues or your art glitter glue will work on this. It just takes, there we go, a little bit of time. Okay, all right, we've got an explosion. Oh my goodness, not an explosion, just a poof, just a poof. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Okay, let's, oh, okay. We'll have to clean that. Wow, never had that happen before. So Fabri-Tac does really well with fabrics. It is alcohol based, so if you are very sensitive to smells, this might not be the glue for you because of that. But it's an immediate grab. Goes back in my scrap pile. I keep the smallest of lace pieces because they're great for clusters. This could be a fabric strip as well. If you just wanted to add some fabric, you could take this and cut a little piece off and just put that along the bottom as well. And now I'm just going to take our sentiment. And I like that right down there. And voila. If I didn't gab so much, it wouldn't have taken 25 minutes. But in 10 minutes, you have a beautiful card. Then is perfect for any occasion. You can put any sentiment. A lot of times I'll make these bases. This is how I'll store them. And then I'll just grab one, grab my card base, put it down, and I won't put a sentiment on it. Because then I can choose whatever sentiment it is. I mean, this can be for any occasion. Anniversaries, weddings, it doesn't matter. So I can change that as I need to. And then that's how I'll store it. It just saves a little bit of room. It does make me remember that I got to get a card base, which sometimes I'll forget. And an envelope. Need an envelope. But there we go. We got one done. Woohoo! There we go. Let's see. Yes, Terry, vintage photo is, it's just, it's absolutely one of my favorite things. It is my one thing. A lot of people say a stamp positioning tool. I can use my hand and I can stamp. I don't need a stamp positioning tool. I'm good. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is I want to do that, but I want to jazz this up just a little bit. I've already made a mess. I need to have my areas here. First, I need to clean this because this is just exploding like there's no tomorrow, and this is not good, and I should not say that word. It is poofing like there's no tomorrow. All right, let me clean this off. I just use a baby wipe. And then this here, we're going to have an issue with that. Oh, yeah. That's not good. Not good. So I'm so glad you all joined me today to watch me clean out a glue cap. Oh. I promise we will be getting back to the crafting. But, you know, Q-tips are awesome. But if I don't do this, it'll just create more problems in the end. And I don't want it to do that. And I know someone will think, but you're wasting all that glue. There's really not that much. A lot of it is dried. But it will gunk up. And if you don't, you know, clean these out like that, in the long run, you'll lose a lot more product. Okay. So, we can take our pattern paper backgrounds just like this, and we can add to them. So I'm going to grab a background stamp. And this is just a script. This is an old one by Wendy with Stampers Anonymous. And for some reason, when I do this type of background stamping, I do lean towards my archival inks. I don't know. It's very odd. You know, we develop these fun ways of doing things. I don't need a block, and I don't want it to be completely visible. I just want it in the background. And when you do this type of stamping, I always like to make sure I go off the edge so that it's not like a block going on in there. I'm okay if it overlaps. Some of them will be darker than others. For me, this is a great way to just let it go. Let it go. Don't worry about it. Just have fun with it. Stamps are great with splatters. So we're just going to add just a few of those. And when it comes to stuff like this is where I start working in the threes. I'm going to grab, we can even stamp on our focal point. So stitches. And I just think these are adorable. I'm actually going to stamp this in black. So we don't always have to sew. And there's lots of stitch stamp sets out there. So now we've got a little bit of stitching. I used black because I know the sentiment is going to be in black, so that'll kind of tie it together. I may even put, you know, the black border around this. Black frames are something that I do go to or craft and then put the vintage photo on it. And then we just have to add some numbers, because that's what we do. Pull that out. I'll pull that one out. And that one, because why not? Hopefully that's big enough. And again, just sticking with the black, the brown. Right now, I don't know where something's going to be placed. And then this just gives me a cushion. You can go off. And again, all on pattern paper. I am going to take one of these and I'm going to stamp it right in the corner. And those are the ones that I'm going to stick with. Well, Amy, I don't think that's a bad task, and I wish I was with you. Waffles just sound absolutely awesome. Just saying. Gonna do the same thing. Link around this. Now, most of you know I do not measure. I just find a somewhat straight side, so even if my piece is not straight. Of course, this shifted. That's okay. And I just cut along the edge for the border. So we have that. Let's grab some lace. Some sort. A ribbon. See, even with lace or ribbon, I can be very picky. Put that right along the bottom. All right, let's see if this is going to poof out again. Nope. All right. I do not, so I get asked, and I know I've talked about this before, people keep seeing me pulling out different scissors, and I do. I have scissors specific for different things. I do not, and to each his own. I'm not saying it's what you do is wrong. Just saying. Um, my paper scissors never touch fabrics of any type. I have a pair for fabrics and I have a pair of snips for threads. And that. And we'll work on those later. So I think I'm going to get that down. Now, the other thing that I do feel adds interest to your pieces are bits of ephemera. I'm just going to pull out a couple here. I love tickets. Tickets and labels are awesome. And it looks like there's a hole in this one, so I'm just going to put a hole in it because we can. I need to move my phone. There we go. Now, if you notice, I did not push down the center of the piece yet. And then that's just going to give me time to put these little bits in place. And yes, as you're doing your backgrounds, yes, you are running that risk that you're covering up everything that you did in the background. But you're still able to see some of it. You could use your master boards. Now I'll push all that down because I like that. these here are from Pink Monarch. And I'm just dumping them all over the place because I want this one. Change up the size. So you're creating layer upon layer. You're adding texture. And we haven't added any dimension yet. But because of this, that's dimension, even though we call that texture. And we're just layering all up on that. And then for that sentiment, we're going to do the same thing as before. Except this time I'll try to make sure that it's straight. So these cards that I'm making are, these are the cards that I use for my thank yous. When someone graciously makes a purchase in my shop. And I was running low. Thank you. And see, I'm not even worried about that. It didn't stamp right. Now, I think I'm even going to add a little bit of scorched timber just on the sides. Vintage photo and scorched timber are just awesome combination. And that we can put right there. Try not to cover up the flower. I don't want to cover up the flower. I think the flower is the prettiest part. Could put that up there, but I think I kind of really like it right there. Oh, now I will put this on my base. So you don't have to, because these bases with the pattern paper are cut to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So these are for 5 by 7 cards. If you're just coming in, I do like to put them on this base as well. The second reason is so that they're a little sturdier. They'll sit up in the package, in the box that I have. This paper, it's, you know, kind of flimsy. So I do want it to hold up. Sala, good morning. Hi, Shay. So that, and then if there's any white that's coming around it, Vintage Photo does a great job covering it. Card number 2. And this is pretty much where we're going. Um, oh, Terry, have a wonderful day. It was wonderful to see you too. It's been a while, and I'm so glad I got to see you. All right, for our next one, let's choose. No. No. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. So that will be our next one. Let me make sure these are safe. Just put those in front of us. I'm going to get my next face down. Let's see what we've got. So do you guys out there, are you a fan of vintage, or is it something that it's not something you gravitate to, or it is, or is it something vintage? To me, when I think of vintage, it's collage, it's layers, it's, you know, all of those fun things. And sometimes I think collaging makes creators nervous. But I think collage is a great way to get through your stash, have fun with it, come up with new ideas. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to cut around. And remember, if you're looking to stash that paper pad, I mean, you don't have to add all the bits that I'm adding and all of that stuff. You don't have to add the ink. Boom. Card's done. And you're still within the paper pad. You guys know me. I go beyond. Beyond. Now, you could use stencils for your background. You could run this through an embossing folder. I just don't have room for that right on my table. It would be hysterical if I did. Let's see, where's that stamp? Why did I put this back in the case? Let's not do that again. To have a light stamp, just let it fall. To have a darker stamp, I just roll my fist or my hand down onto it. So you get to control what this does. It does not have to be the way that it was meant to be. I'm just going to put that there. Now, can you add different colors? You can. You absolutely can. You can have fun with all the colors and all the different things that you would want to add to your piece. I'm choosing not to do that today. Last one. See, everything's in threes. Again, pulling in that black because we've got our black frame. Let's pull in some lace again. That's too white. Put that down the side. Okay, Sally, you're in a song. That is awesome. Yeah, don't destroy your phone. Now I'm using, you know, um, well, I guess we could say, vintage style stamps. Um, but you can use, like, if you've got a set of just numbers, you can use that. If you have a stamp set with just, words, you can put sentiments down. What is that? Give me that. And again, have fun with your colors. Now, if I don't get glue down on this very quickly, it's going to completely unravel. So let's do that, shall we? Now, this is going to go up over that ribbon, so there's something that I'm going to put underneath this. I'll probably use some of my scraps and just cut them I'm not worried about the size. I just want to be able to put that layer up on that so that it'll somewhat hold its shape. So now if I put these all together next to the ribbon, that now makes it even. And now I'll just put this on this side. I'm not worried about everything else. I just make sure that that corner is going to have something. So now when I put that there, she's even. I mean, I'm not worried about these two areas. I just want it basically even going across it. Well, good morning, Flo. Sean, how are you doing? Good morning. Welcome. Yes, I agree. I think stamping just adds, and again, it doesn't matter what the stamps are. See, that's getting all clunky again. It can be any stamps. Don't, it could be sentiments in the background. It can be, again, dig into that stash to see, you know, what you have that would create. All right, now I'm just going to put glue going down that. And hopefully I'll see where I have that to do. Oh, okay, I'm not going a little stir crazy there. So Fabri-Tac is also referred to as the cold hot glue. I know that made no sense. But it strings out like a hot glue gun. All right, I'm going to get this on my base. So it's not as flimsy. And basically, I am making sure I get rid of that white. Gotta get rid of that white. Must get rid of the white. All right, now let's have fun adding some stuff. This is where I'll go off in so many different shades and colors. So, I mean, there's like a bright green. There's an ivory. We can even go with a darker brown. I mean, that would just mold right in. go through my trash again. Alrighty. Whoops. Almost forgot to ink, even though there's an edge around that. So here's case in point, a blue. Oh yes, vintage photo looks awesome on it. And again, that looks not for everybody. I get it. But by using that vintage photo, it kind of pulls all of your pieces together, no matter what the color is. Or any ink that you would want to use. It doesn't have to be vintage photo. And I think for this one, I'm going to put that one over there because I want our sentiment to go down in there. And I'm going to tuck that right up underneath the ribbon. Now for our sentiment. Wow, okay. Let's see, any glitter? Oh. Flow. So I am making card fronts. Let's call them that. I needed a bunch of cards. These are the cards that I add if someone places an order from my shop. And I needed just a few more. So the sentiments I'm using are from stamps from a recent release. And now I'm just getting them out because I'm tired of digging for them. So the next one I want to use, this is another one of my favorite quotes by Albert Einstein. So I just have the card fronts ready, and then I can put them on my card base as I need to. Save space in my box so I can put more in there. So I know what these are for. So I am good putting this type of a sentiment on there. Otherwise, I wouldn't even put a sentiment. I would just leave them be and then add the sentiment as I go. And we're just having fun. I pulled out some papers from a paper pad, a 12 by 12 pad, that I had already broken into, and there were some pages still in there. Not many. And I figured, you know what, let's use them up. Let's only focus on that. And then the focal points, this point here, are actually the cut aparts that are within the same paper pad. So just focusing on paper, I'm just adding little bits, some scraps of lace or trims that I have, adding a little stamping to the pattern paper itself, but all of that can be omitted. You don't have to do that. And to me, like if I didn't add the stamping or if I didn't add these extra little things. For me, that's a clean and simple card. Like, it's really tough for me to not put brads on this, you know, on each side. Um, so, yeah, just saying. And I'll put that sentiment there. But I am also going to add some small strips to the back of that. Oh, almost used those. To the back of that as well. You might be asking, why are you not reaching for your double-sided foam squares? Because I am lazy. I don't feel like I don't feel like reaching for them. So I'm using my scraps. Scraps of paper are perfect for this. We'll add one more. See, for the black 110 pound, I had to add 6. For this one, I only have to add 4. I'm telling you, the Recollections Craft 110 pound is awesome. I think I really do believe that it is 130 pounds. It's just awesome. All right, so, and I'm using the Fabri-Tac. You can use Fabri-Tac all the time. I do not recommend it, only because of its price point. But I'm putting this sentiment right up over. The thing. And that is our third one. So, mixture of digitals, and again, you don't have to do that. You could actually take pieces of the other pattern paper and do this same thing. So, if we take, all right, I did that one. I did that one. Let's use this one. And let's choose our next. I like that one. So we're going to use that one. Now, this I'm going to trim around because it just needs to be trimmed. So we're not going to do any stamping. We're not going to do anything on the background. We're just going to let the pattern paper do the work for us. I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab this and I am going to put this on a piece of black cardstock like I did for the others. And I am going to pull in just the Vintage Photo ink because I can't resist. Put that back in my bag. All right, so now we have this. So, with some of our other pattern papers, we can create our own labels. Because remember, a paper pad is like, you're going to hear another thump. All right. Paper pad is like a kit. I'm going to cut that one like that. And I'm just going to use straight scissors. I'm going to use that. So it will all match. It's designed that way. It is completely designed that way. So it doesn't matter, and you don't have to worry about, are the papers going to match? Yes. Yes, they will. And I'm just grabbing a huge sample of them. Now, I know there's a smaller one of that one, because that is my favorite paper. Let's see. Should be somewhere. And I found it. So here's our little scraps. They're going to replace our labels. And here we have this. And again, just using our paper and ink. Got that. You can put that there. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut this one in half. Careful not to cut my finger. And very carefully ink this. Yep, it's how dedicated I am to vintage photo. Yes. But I'm also making sure for this strip to stay on the edge. I don't want to cover it completely up. So this is replacing our lace. So we just used paper as an accent. And by putting the vintage photo, it's kind of framing each of our pieces. We can put that one there if we want. And then I'll keep that on there. And we can put that like that. All right, so let's get these in place. I don't press down until I know that's where I want that piece. And now we're ready for our sentiment. Sorry. I'm still gonna. Alright, let's just stamp that down. I stamped it right on my card. That would have been funny. I know I'm bringing in my jagged scissors, but I can't resist. You can tear it, and I would with this paper, but it is just so thick to get a tear like that. My hand starts cramping. So yeah, but you can keep that straight. Let me show you. Here, we'll make it straight. Do that. Do that. Do that. We'll do that. So see, I took it back. See, I can't resist. Now, what you can also do too is grab that black cardstock that we're using, and you can frame that as well. So we can put that onto a piece of black cardstock and just cut around it. And put that there. And that was just using our pattern paper. Now I am going to put this onto the base just to make it a little sturdier. Oh, I know what you guys were screaming about. That's funny. I am funny. So, I hear yous. I'm hearing yous. Yes. So, who was screaming? Now, see, the one time I wasn't looking at the comments or anything else, you all were screaming. So, how do we fix that? Oh, we just lift this up. And we just get glue down there. And we just slap it down. And now, I turn it over, and I cut off the excess. Ah, I'm too funny. And there I was on a roll. But, can you tell? No. This side you can. You can see it's off a little bit down here, but what will cover that is the vintage photo. I put my thumb there, you can't see it. Oh, okay. I gotta get caught up in the comments here. Um, let's see. Yes, Kelly. I will be taking a hello, Jennifer. I don't know. I'm going back a little bit here. Flo's having way too much fun, I think. I need to find out what she's doing. What are you doing? Okay. Um, so yeah, I'll always have all the pictures, but at the end we'll go through and I'll pull them out. Cause what time is it? I don't know. I can't. Oh, okay. Now we're in 27. Okay. So hello, Jennifer. How are you? Okay. So she's talking about rebels. But yes, Kelly, absolutely. And then again at the end, or towards the end, I'll flip through them again. And then always at the end, I'll provide updates on things going on and all of that fun stuff. I do love the butterfly paper too, Sala. I save every piece of it. It's just beautiful. Um, let's see. Okay, I'll write you too. We're just, you know what? And I'm good with you all having fun. You guys are just having a blast. I would never kick either one of you out. Absolutely not. Oh my goodness, you two are funny. Oh, Flo, you just have, you two are just, so, which scissors? Oh, you talking about these, Jennifer? I still have the original ones. You know where they were black and the colored ones? Yes, I still have them. Yep. Pull them out every once in a while, dust them off. And there have been many times, especially when I purged my room. Oh, those that's like a recurring nightmare for me. The purge. It was awesome, and I love my room setup today. But wow, not what I expected. Good morning, Donna. If you were here earlier, I am so sorry that I missed you. Um, I actually found them, and I kept on looking at them, going, "Okay, I really don't use these. I only really use this one, this one, this one." But nope, can't do it. There are just some things that yes, I am absolutely going to get, and there's still things that I am purging because I'm finding that no, I'm not going to use these things. It's just not in. We all have a style. Um, and goodness knows I have tried lots of different styles and everything else. And again, it just honed in on some of them. So I just know that I would rather gift it to someone who I know is going to love it. Um, but yeah, these are still there and they still um, in there. Whenever I feel that I'm going to get rid of something, I'll put it in a box and I'll set it aside and then I'll wait. And if I should think about it within the next 24 hours, then it'll go back. If I don't, nope, she's gone. They're tough decisions. Absolutely. Well, no, Sal. I think you have a style. It's just a rebel. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, so obviously, no, there were no questions. Flo was just having a good time, getting the chatter going. You go, girl. You just go. Um, so anyway, let's back to this. So again, it's all the pattern paper from the paper pad. You can do the same thing that I was doing here, minus the stamping in the background, minus the lace or the material. You can use your cardstock, put it on straight. Or remember to glue it down. Um, you can just cut different sizes from your scraps, or just pull out your scraps and use those instead of the labels that I'm putting in. And you pretty much get the same result. You very much do. I mean, there's no difference. So always let your paper, it will do the work for you. And I think that's awesome. All right, so where are we at? All right, so we're about, wow, an hour and a half? Really? That's it? Look at that. An hour and a half, and we got through one, two, three, four. We've made 4 card fronts so far. Okay. Next one. Let's do this one. Let's choose our front. Mm, mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Mm-mm. All right. Let's ink around. Now, again, my pages were 12 by 12. So I think when it comes to the cut aparts, it's a little bit easier to do um, your focal points because they are larger. Now, if you have a 6 by 6 paper pad, you can still use it for a 5 by 7. You can stamp an image and just do what I call messy watercolor. You know, stamp it. You can either heat emboss it so you have those lines and just swoosh over it. It's a technical term, swoosh. With some watercolor, those can be your focal points. But sometimes the cut aparts in a 6 by 6 are a little bit smaller if you're looking for that 5 by 5 or 5 by 7 level. I'm going to real quick stamp my sentiment. All right, let's get all of our pieces done. And then, and I think this will be, I want to move on to those little tags because I want to add little tags because, yeah. These are also by um, Pink Monarch. I don't think I'm going to put any lace or trim on this one. And I think I'm actually going to cover. I think I'm going to put it there. Because that, wow. All right. We're just, yeah, we're going to do that. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you hear that sound in the background, that's Max having a snooze and snoring. I think all this weekend I have either fed a cat or washed a dish. It's all I think I did yesterday. Yesterday I did not do anything in my craft room. I, for some reason, I hit a wall that was amazing. It was just, it just came all aboard in no time at all. I don't know what happened, don't know what was going on, but when that happens, I listen to it. Um, I don't go against it. I'm like, okay, body's telling me something. Let's let's just do what we need to do. So I did. I didn't do anything. But I'm also taking care of my sister's cat. She is away. So, okay. So I'm going back and forth because he has to eat at certain times a little bit. He has to, Roma, he has to have a shot. So, driving back and forth with that. I have my own little one. Yes, my own precious. So it seems like I'm either washing a dish, feeding the cat, or the cats are screaming at me. It's just been a very fun-filled weekend with the cats. All right, let's get this on our base. And I remember to glue everything down, so that's awesome. Miracles can happen. Oh my. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay. I miss you guys. Stop doing that. And Jen, kudos for trying to calm those two down. You know, you all were calm in Biddy's live yesterday. Yes, I was there. Yes. So I hope, with that, I hope you guys join us. I know she announced that she did. She asked if I would join her on July 4th. And why would I even say no? Please. Like, that's a no brainer. Oh my goodness. Now, these backs, they do go in a special bin that I have along with these. So I do keep these. These will go in my scraps, even that one. And I'm going to put that cap back on tightly now. And I think I just want these, because these are tiny, so I want tiny labels. And I'm going to pull in these butterflies. So I'm going to pull out a few of these tags. These, I have tons of these. This is how I used to um, price. Uh, I do in-person craft showcases, and this is how I priced all of them. Okay, for those of you that do that, do not do this. The only time I use these now are for the journals that I bring. I'm not going to put those in a plastic self-sealing bag, envelope type thing, but everything else does go into one of those. So this is the only time that I use this, or I will make a price tag and put it on the inside pocket of the journal. But yeah, pricing, yeah, no, it just didn't work. And it was very time consuming to get rid of them. Okay, so what I want to do, as I said, I found these. And yes, they have a white background. Now, you could actually take the time to fussy cut around them. No, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to show you how I take the white and I push it back. I just want to grab one for each of these. And we're going to keep these tags very simple. Let's see here, oh, I like that one. Oh, yes. But I found these and I'm like, okay, what can I do with these? And we can just, oh, goodness, the little bags. Oh, these little bags. Hmm. Now, these can make good charms as well for those of you that have seen me make charms for my journals. You could absolutely layer these up with each other and get an awesome charm. So you don't have to have a punch, you know, if you know somebody that's got these and they're like, okay, what do I do with them? Or maybe you've got a die that that size, you would just have to die cut it from heavy cardstock. Um, about 5 times and build up your charm that way. I need room on my table, so throwing them in here and getting them out of my way. So what I like to do, now there is somewhat of a glossy finish on these, and that's okay. I can't remember where I got these. I'm sure Amazon with the number that I have, but I thought they were so pretty. So if you have an old makeup brush like this, this is what I use. I'll also use my archival ink because they do have that slick surface. I will load this brush up. You will get inky. And what I'll do is I will just swirl over this piece. And voila. It takes back the color and it removes the white. So it will turn them vintage-y. But it does just remove that bright white. And again, since it is a glossy surface, I'll pull in my archival because that's less to slide around. It does change the color of the butterfly. And the color of archival that I like to use when it comes to brown is potting soil. Yes, potting soil. So that's how they, and so you get it all over. And it is archival. Ave, good morning. What is she doing? Well, if you stay till the end, you'll see the 5 card fronts that we made. Now I'm just making a little tiny embellishment for the cards. I am not going to use this thread. Thread is gone. Nope. Bye-bye. And we are going to get rid of the other ones. Now, if you've got, as like I said, brads, the bulb, safety pins, I mean, you can definitely pull those in as well. You guys know me, I love my metal. Okay, we've got that. I will do, when it comes to these, I will go around. So just a simple, now I like a brush like this because I can swirl it. I don't know what it's like if I use just the regular brushes that we have. This has always worked for me. And I just like the effect. So I'm very attached to this style. So even if you have one that's got like a long handle to it, if it's round, And you can do that. I'm assuming you can do that with the other ones. I just never tried it. So for these, I go over and I go in far. So I'm covering the front. That you can simply do with this, just to angle in more, and then just bring it to the front. I'm okay if these are, modeled, and I'm using my Distress ink at that point. I'm not going to worry about the back because of what I'm going to do with this. You can coffee dye these. They're not fun. They're just not fun. They're very small. All right. And you can see I'm rubbing on this, and because I use the archival, it's not going to come out. Now, it'll take me forever and a day to get the backings off of these because, yeah. So hopefully I can get my pokey tool in there. That's how I rage against the stickers. And I'm just going to put this along the edge. I do want it to go along the edge. And we're going to do that with each of them. And I'm just going to put that backing on it because I'm not quite totally sure what I want to do with that other side. So you can see it's just keeping, while it's might be a different shade, that's okay. And you can do this with any sticker, if you have transparent stickers. Wow, these are really sticky. Okay, I spoke too soon. Here we go. Yee-hee. Some you can put completely on it. If you've distressed both sides, you could wrap it around and then just trim it. Okay, and our last one. So pokey tool is my trick for stickers that just don't have that peel away, or if you just don't want to fight them. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this part away and just go around the tag. you could put these directly on your card bases. I was thinking about, now if I had my card bases done and I wasn't storing these the way that I'm going to be storing these could go on the back of the card, they could go on the inside of your card. Oh my, everything's flying. And then our last one. And then we can do the same thing. We can add little tiny labels. So if you have these and you're like, okay, what can I do with these? These are so small. This is what you're gonna do with them. All right. Or if you just want to add your stamps, you can add your stamps. And I'm just going to put those upside down because I know they're going to get stuck to my board. Oh my. So for something like this, I always put them off to the edge. I don't want those. That I don't have to trim. Oops. And we just need one more. Oh, there it is. And same thing. We're just going to snip. And we're just using the tag, of course, as our template. All right, so now we have these. I can get that out of my way finally. Let's pull these back in. I'm going to push everything off to the side because that's what I do. Going to grab a little bit of thread. And that is exactly what I'm going to do with these. Now you can put these on the front, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to clip it onto this card, and this will sit on the inside with my message. And it's just something that you can add to that. So that is what's going to happen with each of these. Now, for this one, remember, I said you could make it a charm. And all you would have to do now, these are not heavyweight, but we're going to layer them up. Don't worry if they don't line up exactly, because your ink that you put around it is going to fill in just fine. So we can make our own paper charms. And because of the glue in between each of these, it's going to turn into a chipboard piece. It's going to be very thick. It's going to dry very rigid. And then what I do is I just go heavily along the sides. And I'll go around the back. And to put something on this back side, just grab a stamp. Sorry if I'm shaking my thing there. That's green. And there's the back side. And this is a charm. And all you need is a clip. And I know I've got one in here. Well, okay, you would think I would have one in here. Now, when I say clip, it could be the, okay. Now, don't be silly with me. I know I've got one in here. Ha ha. And just a simple safety bulbs. Put that there. And you now have a charm. Could be on your card. You could actually take this if you want. There you go. Charms. Fun, fun, fun. You gotta love charms. So again, never think that we cannot do anything with paper. Oh, there's so much we can do with paper. So much. We may just have to use, more layers, which is fine because we as paper crafters, we keep every paper scrap. We do not get rid of them. We keep it all. And to me, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, to me, there's nothing wrong with that. Gwen! I know, Gwen, you saw it. You saw it. Yep. I'll have to get these sharpened real quick. Real fast. Although I remained calm, I did not scream. Don't get me wrong. I was... Flo, if you're still here, have a great day. Thank you for all the fun. Hello, Heidi. Welcome. So what I did, for those of you just coming in, we did card bases, 5x7 card bases. Now, I don't have them on the card bases. This is how I'll store them. It takes up less room, and as I need one, these are cards that I'm making for when someone makes a purchase on my website. I like to put in, or now, well, I have been for some time, I put in a handmade card by me, whether it be one of the cards with my tangles, or a vintage style card. I always make them with the style that, that I enjoy, or something like that. And then at the end, we can make little charms, whether it's for your journal or your card, by just using a clip. This one here, I'm putting this to the front so that I can put this on the inside of the card. This little tag, you can certainly, glue it onto the front of your card right there if you want. And all we did was we used a 12 by 12 paper pad that oh, I like that one. That was, I had broken into, there was only a few sheets left, and cut into it, and only used the cut aparts that are part of it. So focusing just on paper and letting the paper do the work, you can certainly do that. And I think I'm going to add this one right here. I always say that paper can do the work for us. And this one here, this was the cut apart. This was one of the papers with a pre-printed design. Used black cardstock, and then just added a little bit of lace down here. Then as we continued, I stamped on the backgrounds with miscellaneous stamps. I added some extra digital tickets that I have and labels. Added some more lace. Here's a sewing stamp. If you don't want to sew, you can make it look like you sewed, and then add that. Kept on doing that for just a little bit, but here for this one and this one, nope, just this one, I just used the pattern paper. All of these papers were in the paper pad. Remember, the papers in your pad are meant to go together. Even if you think they don't look like they do, they are. There's a color theme going on there. There's matches that are there, even though it may not look like that's what it's doing. They are there. So pattern papers, your pads, if they have cut aparts, sentiments, for me, they're like mini kits because everything is made to go together. All right? It's made to do that. So you can just use different cuts, and again, using straight scissors. This was cut using a straight scissor. I just wiggled. It's a technical term. Just created that wiggle going up onto it. So layered there, just cut blocks and rectangles of the others. This replaced the lace that I was adding or the stamped stitching. And then the patterns are replacing the stamping that we've got going on. So for this one, I just added my sentiment and the vintage photo because I wanted all of these to have a deep vintage feel. So I do that by adding vintage photo. And again, by putting this black mat in the back, it helps that your focal point, which is the cut apart, come up. So you don't need too many different things. If stamping or that whole Mod Podge going on in the back is not your style, just let your papers do the work for you. And you don't have to push them back and apply all of that. You can just let the papers layer up on each other. All right, and then we've just got these little tiny tags to add that dimension or that interest when it comes to that piece. Because again, I love texture, I love dimension when it comes to our cards, and we can turn these into charms. So this is what we did today. Not bad. Not bad. We're just over 2 hours. So I hope you enjoyed this when it came to all of that. Good morning, Anthony. Well, it's funny, Sala. These little tags, that's how you buy them. Yes, they come in boxes of 1,000. So, just saying. Yeah, these tags, and they come in all kinds of sizes. But I like making little tiny charms with them, clipping them into journals and all of that fun stuff. Again, you can still use the stickers and push that white away by just covering it. If it's glossy, I do suggest an archival ink because the distress will wipe away. You can absolutely wipe that away. So you want an ink that's going to actually stain through that gloss. And I find archival does perfect job for it. All right. You saw the awesome idea that you guys gave me last week in our live when it came to the magnets for the boards. I just recently showed a video where the game boards are all set up like that. They all have the pieces magnetized. So all three of those are done. But I did want to show just a shorter video because I was kind of all over the place in last week's live by time we got, when it comes to what I was doing all last week. Let's see. Heidi, Des, you inspired me with Biddy's journal, so I am now working on one for a friend. Wonderful! Oh, that's wonderful, Heidi. You let me know if you have any questions. You let me know. Absolutely, Sala. Again, when you think that these pattern papers are not going to layer up and it's from one pad, even if they're from different pads, they will. Put it on a mat, and it's a neutral, whether it's black, craft, ivory, or white. All those papers are going to go together. Your eye will tell you, no, No, absolutely not. That's just not going to work. It will tell you. Um, but again, for me, I think the vintage photo just pulls it all together. It creates almost its own mat that it creates. Um, let's see. Yes, so the stamps that I used are the sentiments from my sets that I recently released. Um, they come from everything sticking together. So the Be Authentic, the Stay Curious. I thought there was one where I said use your wings. Maybe? Maybe not. I thought okay. So I thought I used use your wings. Maybe I covered it because that is very possible. They all come from the A Tangled Floral box, and then Not All Who Wander Are Lost, and then the Albert Einstein sentiment, which is one of my favorite quotes. Creativity is intelligence having fun. Absolutely. That comes from a Tangled Block stamp set. I got into these are kind of the quotes or the sayings, sentiments, I guess, that I really do fall to, especially and also breathe when it comes to when somebody just needs some encouragement. That's real. That's what I gravitate to. Those styles of sentiments. So you saw that video. Um, I'm going to put that down before I lose it. So we also just finished up all the June videos will be coming out and finishing up all the projects that we did in our Podia community. So if you're in the free level, we focused on masterboards. Yes. And I'm trying to find where I put all that. Yes. Which I cannot. Um, Showed how to create 3 different styles of masterboards, how to um, how to layer with your scraps, going to different levels, and then what you can do with the masterboard, how to cut it up, what to cut it up to. Is it journal cards? Is it tags? Is it um, we made a journal cover out of one of the master boards. So all of that was broken down. I am so sorry I cannot find that, and that makes me very, very upset that I can't show you them. I know they're somewhere. Let's see. Ah, all right. Well, at least I found this. Let's put that there. I did a lot of cleaning yesterday. So here is the master board that we cut up and we made it into a journal cover. And then the extra bits we made into side pockets. So cutting up your master boards is awesome, but I go into a deep dive, what I look at and how I look at a master board. It's therapy for me to create them, right up there with ink smushing. It's awesome. So that's what we did in the first level because everybody should have access. We did start the Zentangle, so every month a single tangle will be coming out as well, so that you'll be able to see how they work. And it's 2 videos. I talk you through the first one, showing how it works, the strokes that you're using, and then there's one without me talking. No gabbing. Nope. Just soft sound. You can turn that off and you can just watch how the tangle comes together. For June in the paid level, we did a paper bag journal. We created our hinges. We used lunch paper bags where we let the paper bag create the pocket. We did large pockets. The only metal throughout this are the metal rings. And there's even a bonus video in there to show you how to color metal using alcohol inks. Again, we did our charms. We added them using our twine. We have flip outs for writing spaces. And that is what we worked on for June. So, those are wrapping up. And I have to think about July. I'm toying between a couple things. I do know in the free level, we are going to create a single signature journal, just so that you guys can see that and have fun with it. And we're going to use pattern papers. We're going to use our scraps, and we're just going to have fun when it comes to that. So stay tuned. It's the second level that I haven't figured out what to do yet. I think I have an idea, but we're going to try to put that together. All right. I will be live next Sunday, and I hope you all will tune into Biddy's channel, Biddy Penny, on Friday, July 4th. Yes, she did ask if I would join her, and please, why would I say no? That would never ever say no. So I believe it is going to be 8 a.m. Eastern Time with Biddy. So make sure you tune into there. She came up with a great idea, and of course she stumped me again. So yes, she just does that to me all the time, but I have a great time with that. So I hope to see you all there. And again, it's on Biddy's channel. It won't be here. I will be here live on Sunday, the 6th. If you celebrate the holiday, I hope you have a wonderful holiday with family and friends. If you don't, of course, I still hope you have a wonderful weekend, enjoying, relaxing, crafting, being creative. Find your space. Have fun making all of your art. By all means, always continue to stay safe and healthy. And thank you so much for being here. I am truly, truly honored and grateful and very appreciative that you are here. Know that if you have any questions, please don't ever hesitate to reach out, whether it's through messaging, my email, whatever it is. I'm always here to help and answer with questions that you may have. Guys, please go enjoy the rest of your day and have fun. And again, thank you for being here. So dig out your scraps, dig out those papers that you don't know what to do with, and let's just have fun with them and add everything that you can that you have in your stash. Take care, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be well. Bye.